serving the people.
Free medical clinic, free breakfast children program, the Intercommunal Institute and Liberation Schools, free legal aid education for the community.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security, more than the Chinese, even more than the Russians. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black messiah from among their midst, one with the potential to unite the communists, the anti-war, and the new left movement.
We don't fight fire with fire, we fight fire with water.
This man,
You don't fight racism with racism, you gonna fight
Frederick
solidarity.
Allen Hampton.
We ain't gonna fight.
Hallelujah. Shalom, family. Greetings to the 12 tribes of Yisrael scattered abroad. We're going to begin in Matthew chapter 12. And Yahusha knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Mark chapter 3. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Luke chapter 11. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falls. Yahusha was replying to the religious leaders that were attempting to slander him. And Yahusha replied that if the kingdom of Hashatan, the kingdom of the devil, is divided, is not unified, then the kingdom of Hashatan cannot stand, it will fall. And as we can see what happened to Yahushua HaMashiach and the years after, even into our modern age, we can see that the kingdom of Hashatan is strong and united. Conversely, there is a kingdom that is divided. That kingdom is the kingdom of Yahuwah, the kingdom of Yisrael.
Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gotta keep on keeping on, I can feel it in my bones.
All right, so we're going to get into the history of the divided kingdom. How did the kingdom of Israel get divided in the first place? Okay, so we're going to go to 1 Kings chapter 11, and we're going to start in verse 9. All right, so we're talking about the divided kingdom of Israel. And Yahuwah was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, which had appeared to him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which Yahuwah commanded. Therefore Yahuwah said unto Solomon, Forasmuch as this is done of you, and you have not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded you, I will surely rend the kingdom from you, and will give it to your servant. Okay, so you can go back and, read the whole chapter of 1 Kings 11 and get the entire context. But basically, King Solomon was disobedient because he served other gods. And because of this, Yahuwah says, I'm going to tear the kingdom from you. Okay? So in other words, he's going to lose the kingdom. All right, verse 12. Notwithstanding, in your days I will not do it for David your father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of your son. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to your son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake which I have chosen. Okay,
So Yahuwah is telling Solomon that I will take the kingdom away during the time of your son. Not during Solomon's time, but the time of his son. And then I will leave one tribe for you because of David. Because Yahuwah had a covenant with David. All right?
And his son was Rehoboam, am I right?
Right.
Okay.
So you had Rehoboam and Jeroboam. All right. So one was for Israel and the other one was for the house of Judah. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
All right. So David was from the tribe of Judah. Okay. Judah is the king's tribe, is the royal tribe from which the kings come from. So that tribe remained. Okay. So we'll see what happens. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. So the house of Joseph is a key term. House of Joseph is a reference to the house of Israel, the northern kingdom. Okay, so this is before the separation between the two kingdoms. All right, so Jeroboam, Solomon himself made Jeroboam the ruler over the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, the prophet Ayah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he clad himself in a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. Verse 30. And Ayah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. Okay? So again, Jeroboam is ruler over the house of Joseph. And this prophet Ayah is coming to him. He's taking off his garment and he's cutting it into 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, "Take you 10 pieces, for thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel. Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon and give 10 tribes to you. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel." Okay, so Yahuwah has sent this prophet Ayah to Jeroboam, telling him that he's going to give Jeroboam 10 of the tribes. So we know that there are how many tribes of Israel?
12.
12 tribes, right? So 10 of them Jeroboam is going to take for his kingdom. Okay, so we're going to look at the divided kingdom, how it's actually set up, because many people actually don't understand this, and even on the 12 tribe charts, they have this messed up. Okay, so the southern kingdom, all right, which is the house of Judah. We have Judah, we have Simeon, we have Benjamin, and part of Levi. Okay, so when you go, and people don't realize that Simeon is actually in the house of Judah, the southern kingdom. So when you go to Joshua 19 verse 1, you find out that this is where Joshua is casting lots for each tribe to get their inheritance, or where they're going to settle in the promised land. The land of Simeon was actually inside the land of Judah. So Simeon actually kind of lost its identity and kind of assimilated into Judah. You see? So Simeon is actually, the land of Simeon is actually inside the land of Judah. Okay? And Levi, why Levi is partially in the house of Judah and partially in the house of Israel, you find in Numbers 35 verses 2 and 8, and also Joshua chapter 13 verses 14 and 33, that Levi did not receive a land inheritance. But the Levites received cities in all of the tribes.
Because they were the priests.
Right, they were the priesthood. So in all of the 12 tribes, there were cities for the Levites. So you have part of Levi in the house of Judah and part of Levi in the house of Israel. Okay? So the northern kingdom, is called the house of Israel or Ephraim, or sometimes it's called Joseph. So you have to understand this when you get into the prophecies, that some of these terms are interchangeable. Sometimes they'll call it the house of Israel, sometimes they'll call it Ephraim, sometimes they'll call it Joseph. But it's all talking about the northern kingdom. Okay. So, again, remember we had 10 tribes for Jeroboam, who became the king of the northern kingdom, the house of Israel. So you have the tribe of Joseph. Well, the tribe of Joseph was divided into 2 tribes. You find that in Joshua chapter 14, verse 4. So the tribe of Joseph was divided into the tribe of Ephraim and the tribe of Manasseh. So you find out when you read Joshua chapter 14, verse 4, that the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh were counted as separate tribes, because Ephraim was so large, it was even larger than the other tribes, and it was only half of Joseph. Okay, so we have Ephraim, we have Manasseh, then Reuben, Zebulun, Gad, Dan, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar, and Levi. And again, we talked about that part of Levi was in the house of Israel, part of it was in the house of Judah. So that gives us 10 tribes. You count that? That's 10 tribes right there. Okay. All right, so here's a map. You see the northern kingdom of Israel and then the southern kingdom of Judah. Okay. So in southern kingdom of Judah, you have Judah, the tribe of Judah. You have the tribe of Benjamin, part of the tribe of Levi, and then again, Simeon, which kind of lost its identity being inside the tribe of Judah.
Yeshayahu chapter 11. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yisrael, and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the 4 corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yehudah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehudah, and Yehudah shall not vex Ephraim. So this is a prophecy of Yahuwah reuniting the house of Yehudah and the house of Ephraim, or the house of Yisrael, making them one kingdom again. Ezekiel chapter 37. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Moreover, you son of man, make you one stick, and write upon it for Yehudah, and for the children of Yisrael his companions. Then take another stick, and write upon it for Yusuf, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Yisrael his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. And when the children of your people shall speak unto you, saying, Will you not show us what you mean by these? Say unto them, Thus says Adonai Yahuwah, Behold, I will take the stick of Yusuf, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Yisrael his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Yehudah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks whereon you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. So again, we see that the kingdom that was divided into 2 houses, Yahuwah prophesied that he will make them one kingdom again. And say unto them, Thus says Adonai Yahuwah, Behold, I will take the children of Yisrael from among the heathen, where they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Yisrael, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more 2 nations, neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms any more at all. So we see that this is the end game, this is the goal of Yahuwah, and this was the mission of Yahushua HaMashiach. Kohelet, or Ecclesiastes chapter 12. The words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. Yehezkel or Ezekiel chapter 34. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant Daoud or David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. Chapter 37. And Daoud my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd, and they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. So Yahuwah said through his prophet that when he gathers both houses of Yehuda and Yisrael together and unifies them as one kingdom, he will set one shepherd over them, even his servant Daoud. And we know that Yahushua HaMashiach is also a son of Daoud. Mattiyahu or Matthew, chapter 10. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Chapter 15. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Now, understanding the history of the divided kingdom, we can now understand what, in context, the meaning of the words of Yahushua. He sent his taught ones, his disciples, to gather the house of Yisrael, the house of Ephraim that was scattered among the Gentiles. Yehuchanan or John chapter 10. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knows me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And another sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. So as we saw in the prophets, what did Yahuwah speak through the prophets? He said that he would gather the house of Yehuda and the house of Yisrael and bring them back together, and there would be one shepherd over them. So the fold that he speaks of in verse 16, other sheep I have which are not of this fold is talking about the house of Yehuda. He came to the house of Yehuda. He came to Judea. Then he talks about other sheep. Who are the other sheep? The other sheep are the sheep of the house of Yisrael that was scattered among the nations. And as the prophets prophesied, Yahushua said that he will make them one fold or one kingdom. Now, with the historical context in place and the word of Yahuwah spoken through the prophets about the reuniting of the house of Yehuda and the house of Yisrael, and also the words of Yahushua Mashiach on the same matter, we can understand what Shaul or Paul wrote to the Israelites in Ephesus in Ephesians chapter 4. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach or Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body. That body is the nation of Yisrael, and one Ruach, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Yahuwah. That's Devarim or Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. One faith, one immersion or baptism, one Elohim and Father of all. And of course, Yahuwah is the Father of the nation of Yisrael, who is above all and through all and in you all. So of course, one Elohim and Father of all is not speaking of Yahushua HaMashiach. It's talking about Yahuwah the Father. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach. Verse 11, and he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. All of these were given among the Israelites, not foreigners, for the perfecting of the Hasidim, or the saints, or set-apart ones. The Israelites are the set-apart ones, or holy ones, the set-apart or holy nation. For the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach. And again, the body of Mashiach is the nation of Yisrael. Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohim, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Mashiach. And of course, Mashiach fulfilled all the laws and commandments of Yahuwah. In other words, he was obedient. He did not sin. And that is the example for all Israelites. So the unity of the faith, we are as Israel expecting to become one again as a kingdom, a united kingdom of Yisrael. So we know that the kingdom of Yisrael was divided, and Yahuwah spoke through his prophets that he would unite the kingdom of Yisrael into one kingdom once again. The kingdom of Hashatan is not divided. That's why the kingdom of Hashatan is in power in this world. The kingdom of Hashatan wants to prevent the unification of the house of Yehuda and the house of Yisrael. The kingdom of Hashatan wants to prevent a united kingdom of Yisrael. Under Director J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI's COINTELPRO counterintelligence program was aimed at investigating and disrupting dissident political groups within the United States. In the 1960s, COINTELPRO's targets frequently included civil rights activists, both those who espoused nonviolence like Martin Luther King and those that Hoover referred to as black nationalist hate groups like the Black Panthers. This document outlines the program's goals in attempting to limit the effectiveness of such groups. In practice, the FBI used infiltration, legal harassment, disinformation, and sometimes extra-legal intimidation and violence against King, the Panthers, and other black activist groups in its attempt to discredit and disrupt them. So as we read from the list of goals of COINTELPRO, for maximum effectiveness of the counterintelligence program and to prevent wasted effort, long-range goals are being set. Prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be a very real contender of this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines, or nonviolence, and embrace black nationalism. Carmichael has the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. So you can see that the kingdom of Hashatan was very concerned about the Israelites in the United States and abroad unifying in one cause. It's very interesting that these foreigners, these Anglo-Saxon Europeans, use Hebraic biblical language concerning the fear of a leader of so-called Negroes. They actually put in writing that they want to prevent the rise of a Messiah that would unify so-called Negroes or Israelites. Why is this? The kingdom of Hashatan knows that when the Israelites unite as a kingdom under the Mashiach, the true Mashiach, the kingdom of Hashatan will be destroyed. As Yahusha said, the gates of hell will not stand against the church or the assembly of the Israelites. Tehillah or Psalm 133. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. As Yahusha HaMashiach spoke, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And as we look forward to the reunification of the whole house of Yaakov, the kingdom of Yisrael, we must come together in unity. Yeshayahu, chapter 8. Bind up the testimony, seal the Torah among my disciples. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click the like button and subscribe and be notified of future videos. Shalom, family.